You all, about 2 months ago, discussed figuring out a long-term, long-range plan for your financial situation for the city of Eugene. And a revenue committee came up in that conversation. Where are you all in that process?
Yeah. So we're talking about our long-range fiscal stability, which is a topic that comes up with some frequency, but really got very serious in this biennium. And so it's not actually a revenue committee. It's a group that is a group of technical advisors to help with fiscal stability, in particular looking at some of our expenditures and operations and what we might think about around economic development. It's not that they couldn't talk about revenues, it's just not, it's not the top priority. So where we're at with that, we talked about that right before council went on break, and then I let them know that during the break I would be thinking about who would be good members to fill out that kind of technical group and contacting them. So over the summer, that's what I did over their summer break, reached out to folks and found 12 that were eager to participate. And so they're selected. We haven't started meeting yet, but we will towards the end of the month.
And can you expound just a little bit on what they're going to do, what their role as volunteers on this committee looks like?
Yeah. So as we were going through the budget process, I heard, I'm at every council meeting listening at the forum, listening to what people's concerns are, and heard a lot of concerns from public comment and also from our council that they felt there would be some value in having folks outside the city that had expertise in running businesses or operational expertise, taking a look at the way we do our budgets and how we plan, and maybe offering advice and a different perspective. And so that's really the context by which I invited them.
And how will they function, work together? Who are some of those experts? Yeah.
So there's 12. The group is going to meet pretty much weekly, and we've hired an outside consultant, Funk Levis, to help facilitate that group. They did some very similar work in Springfield, and I think had a really good experience. I think folks had a really good experience with them, so we felt like they were going to bring that expertise to the table. The 12 folks are really technical experts, so I was looking for people that were either CEOs, chief operations folks, some CPAs. I'm happy to give you a list of the specific members, but they fall into those lines of people that have experience doing running kind of like lean operations. They may come from a manufacturing background where they're really functioning at a high efficiency rate, and what can we learn from that? CPAs that may look at how we do funding. So just a lot of different perspectives they're going to learn. So I don't think any of them have experiences with municipal budgets, so they're going to learn, and then we're going to learn from them.
Having that outside or business mind definitely sounds like it will be beneficial, understanding budgets, understanding economics. What other ways do you see this group as being beneficial to the city as it looks toward making future budgets? Yeah.
Well, I think anytime you have a group of community members, especially this group who are relatively new faces, that are willing to come to the table and really learn about their city, learn how it's operated and governed, I think we'll learn from them. We may get some recommendations from them about how we might do business differently, but I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities through this process and with them for them to reflect on other things we're doing. I don't exactly know how to answer that, but I think they could be a wealth of resource on multiple topics going forward, because we're going to build relationships that I hope are long lasting. This isn't intended to be a come participate for a few weeks and go away. It's like, these are folks we really want to be invested in for a long-term relationship.
When you think about sustainability, I know that, you're going to be leaving the role soon.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to create a sustainable budget process before the person comes in after you?
Yeah. Well, I think, so this group won't come up with, I think, the full answer on a sustainable budget process. We're doing a whole lot of work around long-range financial stability that this group is a part of. So this group's work will help provide some foundation for the city manager, for me, and for whoever comes behind me to understand and help inform the council as they move into the winter and they have they're going to have a long-range financial stability retreat, and they're going to continue to do this work year over year, I just have to say. I mean, in this role, one of the things I've done is look back historically at what's happened, even before I worked for the city, how did we get here? And in doing that, you realize, the city has gone through multiple cycles of loss of big significant revenue sources, and they've had to recover from that. They often involve the community in those conversations. So a sustainable budget over time will continue to need to have the city manager, the community, the council really looking deeply at how do we do things and can we do things different, and continuing to be curious. I think it's important. I have a relationship right now with these community members that a new city manager coming in might not have, that I think there's a trust already there and a relationship there that hopefully allows them to bring their best ideas and their time and their energy in a way that really helps be a guide for the council and the next city manager. And I think they're all really invested in that. These are folks that are really invested and love this community.
And I know they're just one piece. This is what I'm told. One piece of making this happen. What are the other pieces besides the budget? Yeah.
Well, the city has a budget committee. Council's also going to have a long-range financial stability workshop. That will be informed by this group, but it's also informed by all of the work we do around long-range financial planning inside the organization. So our forecasting, updating all of our unfunded needs assessments. There's a lot of work that goes into determining what are the needs over the long term, and then how do we structure around that. And some of those questions will be looking at service priorities. That is not what this group's doing. The service priority conversation is what I anticipate council will start to move into in the spring. That's what they've talked about wanting to do. So there's a lot of different components, but I think it's front and center for everybody that this is probably the most important piece of work we have to do over the next year.
Can you clarify what's the best title to give the group? So I'm saying the right thing. Yeah. So they're a group of technical advisors. So they're really, when I've talked about it, it's, technical advisors on fiscal stability. So they're going to look at our expenses, where we spend our money. They'll look at they're invited to actually look at anything, but it's expenses and operations are two areas that we've really never asked the community to come in and look at, and we're asking this group to do that. Thinking about economic development and what role can that play in the overall health and vitality of this community and the city. And then if they want to talk about revenues, they can. It's definitely on the table. We had a revenue committee that met a couple of years ago that did a great amount of work, had a great report. They have that. We'll give that to them. So I don't know how much they're going to want to talk about that versus really getting into some of the other more technical elements of the business. As you're preparing for your last meeting in December, the feasibility of even being able to have sustainable budget process with all of your expenses, retirement plans, measures 5 and 50, all these obstacles. Is it feasible? Is it possible to get to that point? Can we say this is a possible outlook, goal?
To get to a state? Yeah, I think I definitely think that is possible. You know, having a sustainable set of services, having a stable budget, that all won't get answered by December, but hopefully we have a good plan and some recommendations about where we might explore to get there.
And any ideas so far on what could prevent future major cuts? Because there was a lot of fear, you know, that with the last budget cycles, certain community services, people were nervous and frustrated and expressing all over the place.
Yeah.
Are there ideas?
That's what, I mean, honestly, that's really what I'm hoping this group can help me identify, because I just have to tell you, I've served on the city's executive team since 2008, and there hasn't been a year that's gone by that that team hasn't first and foremost tried to protect services to this community and be as efficient and effective as we could to be able to provide all that we know this community depends on. This last year was really painful. It was painful for me. It was painful for those folks coming to the table. And that's why I've said, like, hey, we're an open book. Come in, take a look at how we do our work. If there's ideas and we can learn from each other, I know that I'm all in, and I know others that'll follow me are all in. There'll be folks in the room, our chief financial officer, other assistant city managers that will continue to work for the city beyond me. So there's a strong leadership thread that will pull this through beyond my retirement.
Is there a chance with this group and, you know, the efforts of the city, is there a chance that next budget cycle we won't see as big a deficit as $23 million over 2 years?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a chance of that.
Any last words that you'd like to say that our viewers need to know about this process, about your hopes as you hand off the baton?
I guess, you know, I would hope, you know, one of the things that has been such a joy about leading this community has just been the deep level of caring of the community, respect of the services and the commitment of the city employees that show up every day trying to deliver those. So there really are a lot of incredibly talented, caring people on all sides of this table that are working together to make Eugene better. And that's why it's awesome to be here and why I think any city manager would want to be here.